The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets in the dimly lit holding cell of the downtown precinct. Maya Thompson, a 28-year-old community organizer from Chicago's South Side, sat chained to a metal bench, her wrists raw from the cuffs. She had been arrested during a peaceful protest against police brutality. Wrong place, wrong time, or so they said. But as the two officers, Detectives Harlan Reed and Marcus Hale, entered the room with clippers in hand, Maya knew this wasn't about justice. It was about power. "Look at this one," Reed sneered, his voice thick with mockery. "Thinks she's some kind of activist hero. Let's give her a makeover she'll never forget." Hale laughed, a guttural sound that echoed off the concrete walls. They unshackled her just enough to force her head forward, and the clippers whirred to life. Strands of her thick, curly hair she had nurtured for years, a symbol of her heritage and pride, fell like autumn leaves to the grimy floor. Maya bit her lip, refusing to cry, but inside, her heart shattered. The laughter continued, cruel and unrelenting, as they shaved her bald, leaving uneven patches that burned with humiliation. When they were done, Reed tossed the clippers aside. "There, now you look like the criminal you are." Hale high-fived him, their chuckles fading as they left her alone in the cell. Maya touched her scalp, feeling the stubble, the vulnerability. In that moment, she made a vow. She would rise above this. Not for revenge, but for change. Released on bail the next day, Maya returned to her small apartment, avoiding mirrors. Her friends rallied around her, bringing scarves and hats. But the real support came from within. She had always been driven growing up in a single-parent household, watching her mother work 2 jobs to keep food on the table. Maya had put herself through community college, then law school on scholarships and sheer grit. The arrest? It was a setback, but it fueled her fire. She threw herself into her studies with renewed purpose. Nights blurred into days as she pored over case law, volunteered at legal aid clinics, and advocated for reform. The shaved head became a badge of survival. She wore it proudly until her hair grew back, stronger and curlier than before. Graduating top of her class, Maya clerked for a federal judge, then joined a nonprofit fighting systemic injustice. Her work caught eyes, politicians, activists, even the media. Stories of her resilience spread, turning her into a quiet symbol of hope in communities plagued by inequality. Years passed. Maya climbed the ranks, becoming a prosecutor known for her fairness, then a district judge appointed by the governor. At 42, she presided over courtroom 5B in the same city where her nightmare began. Her robe felt like armor, her gavel a tool for equity. She married a kind-hearted teacher named Jamal, adopted 2 kids from foster care, and built a life rooted in compassion. But the past lingered, a scar beneath the surface. Detectives Reed and Hale, meanwhile, had spiraled. What started as tough policing devolved into corruption. They took bribes from local gangs, planted evidence, and covered up assaults. It was a whistleblower, a young rookie horrified by their actions, who brought them down. Indicted on multiple charges, including racketeering and civil rights violations, they faced a trial that could send them away for decades. The day the case landed on Judge Maya's docket, she felt a chill. Scanning the files, she recognized their names immediately. Reed, now graying and paunchy. Hale, his face lined with regret or perhaps just age. She could recuse herself, ethical guidelines allowed it, but something stopped her. This wasn't about settling scores. It was about showing what true justice looked like. The trial began on a crisp autumn morning. The courtroom buzzed with reporters and spectators, the air thick with anticipation. Reed and Hale sat at the defense table, their lawyers arguing procedural motions. Maya entered, her presence commanding. "All rise," the bailiff called. As she took her seat, she adjusted her glasses, her expression neutral. Proceedings unfolded methodically. Witnesses testified to the detective's misdeeds, a mother whose son was framed, a business owner extorted for protection money. The evidence was damning. Reed and Hale avoided eye contact with the bench, whispering to their attorneys. But during a recess, as Maya reviewed notes in her chambers, a memory flashed: the laughter, the clippers, the humiliation. Back in session, the prosecution rested. The defense called character witnesses, painting the detectives as flawed but dedicated officers. Then, unexpectedly, Hale asked to speak. His lawyer objected, But Maya allowed it. Her curiosity piqued. Hale stood, his voice trembling. Your Honor, I've done wrong. We both have. But I remember. Years ago. A woman we arrested. We treated her like garbage. Shaved her head. Laughed about it. I didn't think about it much then. But now, I see her face in my nightmares. The courtroom murmured. Reed shot him a glare, but Hale continued. If she's out there, I'm sorry. We were monsters. Maya's heart raced. She leaned forward, her voice steady. Detective Hale, do you recognize me? He looked up, really looked. For the first time. His eyes widened. Reed followed suit, his face paling. The room fell silent. The kind of hush that precedes a storm. Whispers rippled through the gallery as realization dawned. I am that woman, Maya said softly, her words cutting through the tension. Maya Thompson. Now Judge Thompson. Now, gasps echoed. Cameras flashed from the press box. Reed slumped in his chair, Hale's mouth agape. The lawyers scrambled, one calling for a mistrial. But Maya raised her hand. Order. This court will proceed with fairness, as it always does. The twist hung in the air, but Maya didn't dwell on it. She instructed the jury impartially, focusing on the facts. During deliberations, she reflected in her chambers. Anger had long since faded, replaced by empathy. These men were products of a broken system, just as she had been its victim. But change came from within. The jury returned guilty verdicts on most counts. Sentencing day arrived, the courtroom packed. Reed and Hale stood, shackled now, roles reversed. Maya addressed them. Gentlemen, your actions destroyed lives, including attempts to destroy mine. But I see remorse in you, Mr. Hale. And Mr. Reed, perhaps it's time for reflection. She sentenced them to prison time firm but not maximum, mandating community service upon release, counseling, and restitution to victims. Justice isn't vengeance, she said. It's restoration. Use this time to become better men. As they were led away, Hale turned. Thank you, Your Honor, for showing mercy we didn't deserve. Maya nodded, a small smile breaking through. The silence in the courtroom shifted from shock to awe. Reporters scribbled furiously. Spectators wiped tears. Outside, Maya met Jamal and the kids. Mom, you're a hero, her daughter said, hugging her. No, sweetie, just human. Word of the trial spread like wildfire. Headlines praised her poise, her compassion. Communities rallied, inspired to push for reform. Reed and Hale, in prison, began corresponding with Maya, seeking guidance. Hale volunteered in reentry programs. Reed mentored at-risk youth upon parole. Maya's act of kindness rippled outward, proving that humanity could heal even the deepest wounds. In a world divided, her story reminded everyone. Selflessness bridges the gaps, turning pain into purpose.